Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's the author of the book or the memoir, no other than Mr. Jonathan Knaul. Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Jonathan, and thank you so much for sharing your final approach to the world. So, can you please invite our no, can you please introduce more about yourself?
Absolutely, it's a real pleasure to be here, Daniel, and thank you to the listeners and viewers who are tuning in because that's a real privilege, and I appreciate that very much. I'm an experimental test pilot. I'm actually a test pilot instructor. I had a very long career in the Royal Canadian Air Force, 33 years. I retired about 6 years ago and moved to California to continue my career. I work for a test pilot school, national test pilot school in Mojave, California. It's really one of the world's test pilot schools and quite a brilliant place to work. And that's where I instruct advanced pilots to be test pilots. So it's a very exciting career, and I'm really privileged to have it and to work with the people I do. My book, I wanted to chronicle my parents' extraordinary lives, and I really wanted to talk about caregiving. So caregiving is really hard. I had to give up my career partly at one point to care for my mom, and I had cared for my father when I was a teenager, both through till their passings. It's very hard to do, and I wanted to bring across to people an interesting guide. So I told about caregiving, or I have told about caregiving through my parents' extraordinary lives to make it interesting, and about my life as a test pilot and being a military person. And also, I'll add to that the caregiving is very stressful. I certainly understand that. I've been to war a couple of times. I had a very long military career, as I said, and I understand operational stress, which, thankfully I never experienced PTSD, but I did get caregiver burnout, taking care of my parents, my mom in particular, and it's in the same family. So all those things, I wanted to bring it together into a book that would be for the reader, and and I was also very happy to be vulnerable in this book. Not something that's typical in my career, and because I wanted the reader to be able to relate. So perhaps I've gone on too long. That's my little introduction, Daniel. But over to you, or back to you.
Mr. Jonathan, no. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And we salute you for taking care of your parents. We are proud of you. Final approach. The the title itself. So, what does the title Final Approach symbolize in the context of caregiving, love, and life transitions?
Yeah, I'll talk about that. Daniel, I see that the video froze. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I hope the video comes back. I don't know what happened. It might be a connection issue, but anyways, I'll keep going. And I am sorry for the listeners or the viewers who can't see me, but hopefully you can still hear me. So, um,
Yes.
you know, I know that your podcast is very much about writing, and writing's been a big part of my life. And you're asking about Final Approach. I didn't originally pick that title. The title was originally Together Across the Threshold, um, based on a chapter in a book where I literally had to wheel my mother across the. Uh,
Just give me a minute, Mr. No. I want to apologize, people, because Mr. Jonathan is disconnected for
yeah,
probably
I'm
a
back, and
glitch.
I
A
don't know why we
second.
lost connection. I'm so sorry. Can you hear and see
Yes.
me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
I'm
But
so
anyway,
sorry.
could let's continue the
Yeah,
discussion,
let's do that.
Mr. Jonathan. So, what is the title is all about. Final
Yeah,
approach.
originally it was Together Across the Threshold, and I that was changed by the company I worked with to help me launch the book, a wonderful company called Book Launchers. And I encourage people who are writing to get out there and look for companies like Launchers. They changed the title to Final Approach because they really felt it jived with um, my background as a test pilot and what I brought to my story as a test pilot. And so that's why we went with Final Approach. I think it also has to do with the fact that the book is about caring for loved ones, and through till the end. Um,
Till the end, indeed.
yeah, and I seem I see that the you can still hear me. So I see I'm
Yes.
getting indications that the recording is struggling, and I don't know why. But anyways, I'll keep going. So I was really excited about the title, and I think it was better than the one I had originally picked up. The original one I had was Together Across the Threshold, which was a chapter in the book to do with when I had to literally wheel my mother across the threshold of her condo forever, out the door and to a dementia care facility without her knowledge. And I felt terrible about it. So very, very difficult moment. Uh, anyway, so we came up with Final Approach. And it's very much there's a lot in there about decision making. Decision making and caregiving is very hard. So um, I had a lot about decision making, which of course is very much a part of my career as a test pilot and as a military officer. And so that got wrapped into it all, and that's where we came up with Final Approach.
Mr. Jonathan, how did writing this memoir transform your understanding of resilience for grief?
You know, for me, it was therapy. As I said, I've written quite a lot. Um, y- you know, I've written a couple of articles in Air and Space Smithsonian. They're easy to find if you Google my name, for example, and I've written other articles. And I love writing. Writing is hard though, but when my mother was sick and I had to put my career on hold, I found it to be a tremendous therapy for me to document and write about what I was experiencing, and to write about their lives. That you know, my father had already gone. I saw my mother's life disappearing, and I so badly wanted to record it. So that, in terms of resilience, really helped me to deal with the caregiver burnout. It helped me to deal with the guilt. With caregiving, you can also find a lot of guilt, find a lot of frustration, uh, really a whole spectrum of emotions, and it really helped me. And I felt that it, it made me feel better in so many ways because I knew that I was doing something for my parents, and more importantly, I knew I was doing something for the reader. Because again, I wished I had a manual, so to speak, that was interesting, like my book, that I could turn to, and I didn't. So that feeling that I'm going to give back something to the community by writing, that's where the resilience came in, and that really helped me. I hope that makes a certain amount of sense.
Makes sense, Mr. Jonathan. Makes sense. What compelled you to share such a personal story? Was it catharsis, advocacy, or something else?
It partly, as I mentioned, it was the interest to record my parents' extraordinary lives. Uh, my father was a Holocaust survivor. He survived both internments of both Auschwitz and Dachau as a teenager, and lost his entire family. And my mother was British, and my father was Polish. My mother was British, and she survived the bombings in London, and and helped out at the evacuation of Dunkirk. They met later in Canada. Those extraordinary lives I wanted to talk about, and I just so that was part of it. The part of it was, as I said, writing this manual, and also I just love writing. Writing is a great experience. It's hard, and even once I had it what I thought was a working manuscript. We went through about 10 rounds of professional edit until, um, and even then, I can still find the odd mistake in the book. So really, I hope that answered your question, Daniel. If
Yes,
not, please let's.
indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed, Mr. Jonathan. How did your relationship with your loved one evolve during caregiving, and how does it live on now?
It changes very much. The child becomes the parent, and the very hard part was to, in particular, when it came to my mother, and I had left my career and I moved in with her to take care of her. I took care of her in her home, um, and I had to take care of all her needs, right down to the most private needs. Uh, so that was a very different relationship, and I was no longer really, in some respects, her son. Um, the very tough decision, as I mentioned earlier, was to move her into a dementia care facility, and thankfully we were able to afford a good one. Uh, that allowed me to be her son again. So my relationship went up and down, um, but there was always extreme love there, and deep care for my mother, and I certainly learned many more things about myself through it all. Um, the other thing I wanted to add to this, which is sort of side to this question, and it goes back to your previous question that I wanted to mention, was that it's in my business as a test pilot, it's very, um, we're not emotional people. You see this in the movies, so to speak, and I wanted to. I'm a very sensitive person, and in this book, I intentionally have been vulnerable, uh, to the point to be able to show that you can be strong in your career and do unusual things like I do in my career, and still be a be a caregiver, um, because this happens to many people in life, where we are found that we take care of a loved one, and I also did that because I wanted the reader. The book is about me and my family, but it's not for me. It's for the reader, and I wanted the reader to be able to relate. So that's why I was vulnerable in there. Anyways, I'm sorry. Keep going, Daniel.
Mr. Jonathan, how did you balance honoring your loved one's dignity with the exhausting realities of daily care?
Uh, it's very hard. I learned a lot about dementia. I treated my mother like a person, and uh, I made sure that, for example, my mother's hair was very important to her. I made sure that her hair was taken care of regularly. I made sure that if I wasn't dressing her well when she was in the dementia care facility, that she was dressed well. And for example, just one of many things to make sure that she was able to preserve her dignity. When I had to take care of very private matters for her, I just did it in the best, most dignified way I could, because as much as that was very hard on me, even though my mother was suffering dementia, so in some respects you would think she wasn't quite there, she was there. There is a person inside, and I'm sure that that was very hard for her to have her son do those things for her. Um, I treated her like a person, and I think that was the biggest thing, and I um, always did. Um, yeah, I,
Mr. Jonathan Knoll, we salute you for taking care of your mom.
thank you.
In what ways did caregiving redefine your sense of self? Is it beyond a son, a caregiver itself, or a child?
Uh, that's a packed question. Anytime you care give it, you become a. It's different. It's very different. It redefined me in the sense that I crossed a divide. I never, for both my parents, for example, I've come back to this two or three times now, taking care of their most private needs. When you have to do that for a parent as a child, it's, I mean, I'm already an adult, but you grow up in another sense, and you lose another part of your innocence. But I decided that it was just it it was a new aspect of myself that I was going to embrace. I was going to make the most of. That goes back to the book, and to try and get this across to people. Uh, I was going to embrace it and recognize the emotions that were involved. I think that was a big part, is that it's very hard sometimes to just recognize emotions, put them off on a side and say, I see those emotions. I recognize them. I acknowledge them. I embrace them. I'm not going to necessarily let them control me. Um, Otherwise, I just would not have been able to sleep at night. And it redefined me too, because it propelled me to, again, write this book for the reader, so that I could be vulnerable and let people know about what I went through as a caregiver, so that they're not alone. And that's the message that I try and deliver now, uh, through promoting the book, and also through my website, where I'm developing a network, and I hand out a free newsletter to remind caregivers you're not alone. To have those tips and thoughts and feelings and expressions in there, to let you know you're not alone, because it can be a very scary journey, and it comes with a tremendous burden. You're not alone.
You're not alone, people. You're not alone. If you need help, ask for help. Mr. Jonathan, as an author, what are your short term and long term goals?
I want to give back to the community. I'd like to see this book get out to people who need it and can benefit from it. It's I uh, I'll probably write another two or three books down the road. That's later. I have some ideas, but it's so much work that I don't know. It'll be a while before I get to the next book. But my goal right now is really to get that message out that you're not alone. To develop a network that will help caregivers, and I'd even I continue my own research and networking, so that I learn more about caregiving, so that I can offer more. And that's really the goal right now. And that I'm doing partly through my website, and being on wonderful podcasts like yours. And I will mention the website is, it's one word, it's finalapproachbook.com, all one word, finalapproachbook.com. So folks can go there and subscribe. They'll get a free caregiving plan, and they will also get my newsletter, which comes out about every 3 weeks or so. I keep it very short and sweet, and I really want to offer things that'll help people. And I feel good about doing that. I enjoy doing that, and that's really, here's the thing. I'll just try and sum it up. Book sales really, honestly, don't matter to me. It's always nice to get. I put a lot into the book, so it would be nice to get some of those funds back, but they don't really matter. What really matters is I get tremendous number of messages daily from people I don't even know, many from people I know, and they're all wonderful messages. In many senses, what they're telling me about that's going on in their life is tragic, but I am so heartwarmed that they've reached out, to tell me about it, and to tell me also that this what I'm what I'm expressing is helping them. That right there, there's no price, there's no medal, there's nothing that can compare to it. It's just it's like um, it's like when I was flying helicopters in Afghanistan, knowing that knowing, pardon me, that I got soldiers off the dangerous roads. Um, no medal could have compared to that. No promotion, and it's similar with the book. And if you're asking me what my goal is as an author right now, just to get that feedback from people is absolutely wonderful, and to know that I'm helping them, it's just, it's no comparison.
Totally priceless, people. Priceless indeed. And we congratulate you for that, Mr. Jonathan, for
Thank you.
sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world.
Thank you.
What would be your advice for those people out there, one, to be an author too?
To be an author,
Yes.
uh, it's really just put to pen to paper. But I think the big thing is to you've got to have a story, or not necessarily a story. You've got to have something that offers to other people. Again, my book might be about me, but it's not for me. It's for the reader. And I really encourage an author to keep in mind that what you're writing is for the reader. And if you do that, you will express in a way that will be beautiful, and you will garner interest, and you will write something that people will want to read. It's got to be for the reader, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, whatever. It's got to be for the reader. I think that's the big thing, and just to it's hard work, so stick with it. Um, and I also believe that um, writing, if you want to get a book out there, you've got to be prepared to invest time and resources to get it done right. And I do again want to do a shout out for book launchers. I'm self-authored, but I went to book launchers who I paid their fee to have them walk me through the process, and because I have a tremendous knowledge and network base, and that helped me out a lot. And so the collective we did everything very professionally, and I think when you do that professionally, you get a good product. Um, and so I'm very happy with what's been turned out, and that I'm able to offer something that's quality for the reader.
Quality indeed. And again, thank you so much for sharing final approach to the world.
Mhm.
And thank you for your advice. And of course, good luck uh to your advocacy, Mr. Jonathan, as well as anything or any projects it come that will come. And what's one thing you wish you'd known at the start of your caregiving journey?
I wish I had known that I really would get caregiver burnout. Um, you can't run a one bed care home in your home. And I really did try and do that. My sister helped out too, but I was the one staying there and doing it. Uh, y- I wish I had known before. We made the decision when we did, and I moved my mother to dementia care. Um, but I just really didn't have any idea. I came at it as the strong military officer, test pilot. I can handle this, and it brought me to my knees. I wish I had known and before, and certainly having been through everything I had in my career, deployed and both here domestically in North America, I didn't suffer PTSD myself, thankfully, but many of my friends did, many of my subordinates did, many of my colleagues did, and I saw it. And so when I experienced caregiver burnout when it happened, and I didn't expect it, I at least knew what was going on, and I sought help because um, medically it can destroy you. So I think that would be one thing. One thing I did know about, which I do recommend to people, thankfully my mother had done ahead of time, and my sister and I knew about, was establishing power of attorney, and we had that in place. Power of attorney allowed both my sister and I to make decisions on our mother's behalf, critical decisions in her best interest. Had that not been in place, it would have been the government making those decisions. And I would recommend that you never want to be in that position. So if readers, or pardon me, listeners hear anything, uh, power of attorney can be a difficult discussion, but I really highly recommend to have that discussion. And if you can get it established, it's for the better.
For sure. And Mr. Jonathan, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and book 101 review in fifth season as well. Comedy 101 in second season, and food 101 in fifth season too. Geography 101 and fourth season, and my baby podcast, Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in third season, and my Movie 101 review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in the first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Mr. Jonathan, how do you hope your story will shift conversation about end of life care of grief in our culture?
I really hope that it allows people to be, well, it shifts culture by developing a network. It shifts culture by developing recognition for people aging and what they need. I'm Canadian, and for example, in Canada, um, we have a lot of deficiencies in our healthcare system in terms of elder care. So I hope it makes a shift in recognition and support for elders in need. I hope it makes a shift in terms of people understanding caregiving and what things they might have to do early, and just being open about it. I hope that there are more networks that do that. There's the other shift is that one thing I struggled with was finding a network where I could talk to somebody to help me through the emotions and struggles I was feeling. um, I did find a couple of networks, but it took a lot of work. Initially, any network I found that would help me in terms of the emotional, personal inside struggles I was going through meant that I had to subscribe to mental health care. And I did not feel that I was mentally unfit in any way. I was experiencing tremendous emotion under tremendous stress, and I was reacting normally as a human would. And I needed assistance to get through that. Thankfully, I found networks that did that and was able to get that assistance. So I hope that there's recognition for being able to help caregivers without putting them in the spotlight of being a, so to speak, mental health patient.
Mr. Jonathan Knoll, thank you so much for sharing final approach to the world. And we're looking for more and more and more empowering books like this to come. So can you please invite our listeners to support Final Approach?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you to listeners. I want to say I apologize that we lost the video.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your patience. Please, you can find the book on Amazon or any venue. Final Approach: A Test Pilot Story of Caring for Loved Ones is the title. My name is Jonathan Knaul. My last name is Knaul. And you can go to my website where you can also order the book or subscribe. Finalapproachbook.com, one word. And thank you again. And thank you, Daniel. It's a real honor to be on here, and I'm very thankful, and I really enjoyed this, and it was a pleasure.
You are most welcome, Mr. Jonathan, and congratulations for your debut book. Yes, people, let's support Mr. Jonathan Knoll because if you support him, more and more and more empowering books like this to come. So, Mr. Jonathan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you very much.
Modicon people, see you soon.
Hi, Daniel. Are we